Hello friends, we have been seeing the current affairs related issues, how the questions are being asked as part of the crash course to civil service exams. Let us continue with try to continue with the session based with respect to the anti-defection law. See, the anti-defection law has been in news for quite some time and for several reasons. For example, there were issues relating to the Manipur Legislative Assembly. Right? And most important with respect to Karnataka. So in Karnataka and then in Madhya Pradesh, people, immediately after the elections, Karnataka episode everyone will remember, immediately after the elections, no political party gained majority and a government was formed with the Congress party support, but immediately several MLAs from Congress party and other political parties resigned. Then they joined some other political party, contested the elections and they got qualified. Alright, and all this happened within 6 months' time. And then the new government with clear majority was formed in Karnataka. Same is the case with Madhya Pradesh. So, the very idea of anti-defection and the very idea of defection has now become a mockery, which makes democracy a mockery exercise. Okay, what is this Schedule 10 and what is this defection? First, let us understand the concept of defection. See, when it comes to defection, any member of Legislative Assembly or Legislative Council or Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha who has been set up as a candidate by one political party and has been elected to the House, shifts his loyalty to some other political party or joins some other political party, then it is referred to as defection in general. Now how? So this has become this has been one of the very important menaces of Indian political system, and at one point in time there used to be a slogan or there used to be a phrase, namely Ayaram and Gayaram. To that extent people were shifting. At morning they were in one political party, in the afternoon the same MP will be in another political party, and evening he shifts his loyalty to some other political party. Thereby the entire process of democracy became a mockery. In order to stop this menace and to prevent the most important phenomenon called horse trading, like MLAs and MPs being traded like how the horses are traded for benefit, shifting their loyalty. In order to stop this, the Anti-Defection Law was enacted by the Constitution, 52nd Amendment Act. At 1985. This Constitution 52nd Amendment Act added Schedule 10 to the Constitution, which provides for anti-defection provisions. According to Schedule 10, defection means defection is meant for the conditions were laid down for elected members and nominated members. When it comes to elected members elected as a candidate set up by a political party and candidate who contested as independent members, not belonging to any political party. when a member elected to the house as a candidate set up by a political party in the elections, he is said to have defected if he votes against the party whip on the floor of the house upon any issue, or he abstains from voting without the permission of the party high command, or if he gives up the membership of the party, or if he joins any other political party. Under any of these conditions, a member elected as a party candidate will be considered to have been defected and he will be disqualified to continue as a member of that house. With respect to an independent member, he must not join any political party after elections. If he joins a political party after elections, then he is said to have been defected and he will be disqualified. For the nominated members, there are two conditions. He can join a political party within 6 months from the date of entering upon office. That is, from the date on which he takes oath of office and takes up the seat in the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha or Legislative Assembly or Legislative Council. Within 6 months from that date, he can join any political party. If he joins that political party, then he will be treated as that party candidate, and from then onwards, these 4 conditions will be applicable to him. Supposing if he did not join any political party before the expiry of 6 months, then he will be treated as an independent candidate, and after that he should not join. If he joins any political party, he will be considered to have defected and he will be disqualified. So this is how the disqualification under defection takes place. But unfortunately, what happens now? The members circumvent and bypass the entire provision. They themselves resign. Right? They themselves resign and they contest the elections. See, what happened actually? So this is the provision of disqualification on the ground of defection, as you know. Now, what is actually happening? How this law is being bypassed? Let me explain to you. After the Constitution, 91st Amendment Act, the two things were the split of political party was done away with. Previously, if minimum of 1/3 of the legislative party splits, for example, there are 21 MPs in Lok Sabha for a particular political party, of which 1/3 is 7 MPs, split from that party and joins any other political party, this will not attract the defection, disqualification on the ground of defection. Let me repeat. Assume there are 21 MPs for a political party in, say, Rajya Sabha or say Lok Sabha, of which if any one member joins another party, then he is said to have been defected and he will be disqualified. On the other hand, if 1/3 of the members split from the party, then it will not attract the defection provision. Right? If 1/3 members did not, right? If 1/3 members joined the political party, then it will not attract their. They will not be considered as defectors. right? This created some sort of this gave a political space, and horse trading was done on a wholesale kind. It's like instead of buying a horse one by one, you buy 7 horses out of 21, you get scot free, and you escape the snoozes of the law, the lesions of the law. That was what was being done. Hence, this concept of split was done away with by the Constitution 91st Amendment Act. Along with that, instead of split, now merger has been added. Merger of parties. For example, there are about, say, 21 MPs of a political party X in the parliament, of which 15 MPs want to join a party Y. The party leader dissolves the party Y, party X, and merges the party with Y. And 15 MPs are ready to go with the decision. However, 6 MPs feel that it is wrong because they have been elected by the people of the constituency based on their election manifesto and the political principles, and therefore we cannot surrender our principles, and therefore we will not join. Likewise, the 6 MPs are rebelling. What should be them? Should they be considered as defecting? No. So such MPs or MLAs who do not want to join a political party even after their political party merges with another party, then they shall not be deemed to have defected, and the provisions of disqualification will not attract with respect to them. I hope it's clear to you. This is one aspect. Thirdly, the third aspect is these provisions have been added by the Constitution 91st Amendment Act as well. According to these provisions, any member who is disqualified on the ground of defection shall not be appointed to 1. Any constitutional post, 2. Any remunerative post, which includes to be a member of Council of Ministers also, or he shall not be appointed as a minister. If a member of parliament or state legislature is disqualified on ground of defection, he shall not be appointed to any constitutional post, he shall not be appointed to any remunerative post, or he shall not be appointed as a minister. Right? Let him not be appointed to any of these. If he is appointed, then it is a violation of Constitution, it will be struck down. Until when? Until he shall not be appointed to any constitutional post, remunerative post, or as a minister until his term as then member. His term as a member, meaning, supposing, let us assume an MP or a member of parliament X is disqualified. Say he has got elected in the year 2014. In 2015, he leaves the political party to which he originally belonged and joins another political party, as a result of which he is disqualified. So his term as then member would be until 2019. Right, until 2019. So from 2015 to 2019, till his term as such member, right, as such member expires, till 2019, he shall not be appointed to any constitutional post or any remunerative post or as a minister. If he is appointed, it will be violation of the Constitution. However, or until his term as such member expires, or he becomes a member, whichever is earlier. So, instead of waiting until 2019, he may either get himself elected by contesting the by-elections, or he may get himself nominated and can become a member. Now, this is exactly what has happened in Karnataka. Instead of leaving the party which set them as candidate, they resigned and joined a political party. If the MLAs had joined the political party, other political party than the one which set them as candidate in the election, they would have, the defection provisions would have been attracted and they would have been disqualified. To avoid it, what they have done is they have simply resigned from the post of MLA, joined another political party, got the tickets, then got elected again within 6 months, and they are now being appointed to minister because this condition is satisfied. So effectively, the anti-defection law is now simply mocked at. It has now become defunct. Almost it is now become defunct, and it is not having any more, no more it is really having any utility, and this has to be amended. That is a most important demand. Now remember, this issue can be asked in your mains as well. In the prelims, all these things can be asked, and in the mains it can be asked. You can be asked to analyze the utility of anti-defection law or the 10th schedule. I hope you have got the point. We shall continue in the next session with more number of issues. Thank you, friends.